One of the most important things to consider when you're making your rank list is this concept of a big fish in a little pond or a little fish in a big pond. I know rank lists are coming up soon, and many of you have probably already finalized your rank list. But I think this is an important concept you may want to think about. Your rank list is going to be comprised of multiple different residency programs that have different rankings, from high rank and to lower ranked and mid-tier, etc. I've talked about it in previous videos, but the most important factors generally are location, the culture at the program, whether you'll be happy there. Those are probably the primary factors I would consider when making a rank list. But, sometimes people might feel a little bad about, oh man, I'm ranking this, lower ranked program higher than this higher ranked program. Am I making the wrong decision? Am I making the right decision here? And I do want to let you know that oftentimes that really is the correct decision. And I do think that going into a program where you may feel that, you have this offer at a top 10 institution and you instead decide to pick that top 50 institution, you are still going to get really, really good training at that top 50 institution. And not only that, but you may develop better connections than you would at that top 10 institution. So what are some of the benefits of, quote unquote, being a big fish in a little pond? Well, number one, I think for your confidence, it's a really, really big confidence booster. And as you know already, residency and being an intern and just starting out as a doctor in general is a huge phase of this abundant imposter syndrome. And any situation where you can potentially, ameliorate that or make that a little bit better really will do wonders for you. Because if you have high confidence, that motivates you to learn more, to study harder, and you'll continue improving on yourself because you actually build confidence. I think it's really easy to go to a really competitive location and then you never feel like you develop that sense of confidence. Just to bring up an example, this happened earlier in my life when I was playing volleyball on the high school varsity team. So my first year I played on the junior varsity team. I was with all my friends. I was having a ton of fun, but I already had some experience compared to my other friends. So they offered me to go up to the varsity team early. And I ended up taking that offer, but it ended up really hindering my progression as a volleyball player, I think, because, I was on the bench all the time. I was not one of the best varsity players, and everybody was so much better than me. And I think in that situation, I felt like a little fish in a big pond, and I just really hindered my development as a volleyball player there. In many cases, I think if you're somebody who lacks a little bit of that confidence and wants to build that, going for the lower ranked program may do wonders for your confidence in yourself. The other thing is that a lot of times you may actually develop more connections at the smaller program because you have more opportunities to stand out. For example, if you have 50 co-residents who are all top tier, amazing candidates, yes, going to that higher ranked program with a better name will give you some connections, but it's harder for you to stand out in that program. And if you are trying to go for that GI spot, or if you're trying to go for that cardiology spot, you're competing with all the other people in your program. Whereas if you go to that smaller program, you actually really have a good chance because your program is going to support you. Like, for example, at Davis here, if a lot of people end up going into hospital medicine like myself, but the people who choose to go into GI, cardiology, nephrology, it's almost like the program nurtures you. They identify that you have an early interest in those subjects, and the faculty latch onto you and they try to get you to stay at the program. And that's why we have such a high retention rate at UC Davis, because there's a sense that we want to keep our own and we value the people who are here, and you're just not competing, on the same level as, if you went to top tier program, number one program where there's 10 people all applying for the same GI spot. Then the GI department is going to look at all of them and be like, oh, well, we'll choose one of them, but we don't really care about any of them. At a smaller program that's maybe more mid-tier, you'll have much more personalized attention. And I feel like the programs will foster your growth into the specialty that you want a little bit more naturally. Now, I will say there are some benefits to being in a big pond, and you can be a big fish in a big pond, right? And that's probably a big argument a lot of people have. And I agree with that. A big thing about going to somewhere where everybody is really ultra smart, everybody is super motivated and, doing a ton, it's going to motivate you because you want to keep up with everybody, and it's going to force you to really try your hardest to stay on top of your stuff, to stay as knowledgeable as possible. And I think the people you surround yourself with are what motivates you to continue being the best possible version of yourself. There is that saying that, the 5 closest people to you, or your 5 closest friends, you are the summation of that. You are the average of your 5 closest friends. And so if you take that and extrapolate that to your residency program, you want to choose the best possible program, because then you become the average of all of those physicians. I definitely think that's a really valid argument. I just do think that you really want to consider, is this a program where I might get burnt out by trying to keep up with the Joneses, per se? Or is this a program where I feel like in that kind of environment, I won't be able to develop into my fullest self with my own confidence and my own practice and my own abilities, because I'm constantly worried about not succeeding? All of this is to say that there is definitely merits to not picking the top of your list versus the bottom of your list. And I'm just going to show you my rank list here, but you can see that I did not, rank all my top programs based on what their actual, US News Report ranking was. A lot of times it was based on how much I liked the program, how positive an experience I had there, and how much I thought I could grow there in terms of my own confidence, and what the culture was, what the location was. I took all of those factors into account. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents. I wonder what you guys think. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and peace.